Chelsea travelled away to Newcastle in the League Cup this week. Um, Disappointing result, Andrew. I thought after the Premier League game, granted we play a second team, but I thought we would win this game. And to be fair, even Newcastle I think had a slightly weaker team as well. Where did it all go wrong?
Um, well, 'cause I don't think they had a weaker team. I think actually some of their changes were improvements to their team. I get they put long stuff on, but Gordon started, right?
Oh,
Like,
They had Isak as well. Do they
it
have
was
Isak for both?
one, it wasn't a completely rotated team, and two, like some of the players that played are better. Like you're picking Gordon over Barnes every time.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't like a massively weakened team. I think where it went wrong, I think that second team really struggles with playing the ball out from the back. I think they're just slow on it, like especially the centre backs, and I think we got caught a few times, and caused our own problems. I feel slightly aggrieved by the first goal because I think the ref gave every push in the back to Newcastle all game until like the 89th minute when there was one on Joe Linton. We didn't get that one and like one other one late on in the game. He gave like every push in the back, and one of them led to a goal. And then a very similar challenge led to their free kick for the second goal.
Yeah, I didn't like the second goal.
We should have done a hell of a lot better defensively. We shouldn't have been in that position. It's a stupid ball to Vega under a lot of pressure. Maybe Lavia gets out of that, but I don't think any of our other midfielders even get out of that situation. And I think that Newcastle game massively highlighted to me actually how a lot of our players just play the ball to people. They don't actually try and put it on like one of their foot or give them like an actual option. And I think the main victim of it was Enzo. Enzo was constantly almost forced to play with his left foot. And that game exposed that he's got bang average left foot, which is fair enough. He's not left footed, and players just need to be better and give the ball so he can actually play with it properly. It was and all credit to Newcastle because they pressed well and they didn't give us time and he couldn't put it on the right foot and everything else. But it's those little differences that make a huge difference in like how well your team plays is actually giving other players a chance.
No, I agree. I do think from the passing aspect, we do need to improve slightly. I've said it before, especially when we're under pressure. It's almost as if it's almost like you're passing because you think you need to pass, and you're not really 100% sure where that person is or the weight of the ball that you need, which obviously puts the receiver under pressure. We've seen it many times. I mean, the the second goal that they scored for me just kind of sums up what it's like for Chelsea at the back with both teams at the moment. In that, I feel like a fair few, if not maybe 50% of the goals that we've scored have been like that. Sorry, conceded have been like that, where it's just sort of, you know, mistake and like after mistake in the sense of, I mean, and Kuku gets a slight touch on it, and then Dizazi and the goalkeeper kind of got in each other's way. He came off Dizazi and goes in. It's just,
Sanchez and Dizazi, I just don't think speak the same language. I
it
don't
was
think
Jorgensen. It was Jorgensen in goal.
it's Jorgensen. Maybe it's just Dizazi. I just like he just seems like to attract problems at the back for us, and he has done since. He puts other people in problems. Jorgensen hasn't impressed me at all since he's come in. Actually,
Who?
Jorgensen.
No, I mean I've been quite surprised by Jorgensen, to be fair, and not in a good way, not in the way that I'd expected. I mean,
His shot stopping ability just doesn't fill me with any confidence. I don't feel any confidence he's going to save the ball.
again, I'm just bemused by it. We've had this conversation before about goalkeepers, and the fact that we've gone out and bought this goalkeeper, and now you're going, Jesus Christ. Maybe he needs a season, but at the same time, I'm not comfortable with anything at the back at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I think our first team defensive line is actually pretty good, but it still needs work and time together. The second string team, the one that played against Newcastle in the League Cup, I just think it's diabolical. I mean, you had Dizazi at what, right back, Tosin Badiashile and Cucurella. I mean, I think Tosin is actually doing okay. I just think the problem he's got, he's playing next to two, oh, I don't know what you call them, but not very good players. Let's keep it PC. I think Cucurella's having a blinding season. Surprised that he's been dropped over the last couple of games in the sense that what is it? We've had Reece James and Gusto playing left back and right back. Huh?
That's because because we've now dropped Enzo. We're moving the like left back is kind of playing as a centre attacking mid rather than a like CDM. I think Maresca just likes Gusto more in that like centre attacking mid position. So I think that's more of a tactical switch than any like he's playing badly and he's lost his
No,
spot.
I don't think he's playing badly. That's why I'm surprised because I think actually he does a really good job in and around the box as well now. He's got a bit more freedom. So I was quite surprised by it. I think in one game they were talking about how pace wise, I think they thought Gordon was going to play and they wanted to put Gusto up against Gordon, but he was injured in the Premier League game. I think it's the first time they did it. It was the Newcastle Premier League game.
Mm.
And they put Gusto at right back and James at left back.
Mm.
I just thought that was weird. Not nothing against it, but just thought, why are you dropping Cucurella when he's been playing? I think he's been one of our best players. If I'm brutally honest, I think he's been one of our best players all season.
True.
But yeah, I mean, Tosin did a love. I mean, I know you talk about passes from the back, and I do agree. I don't trust Dizazi or Badiashile from with passes from the back. However, Tosin did get the assist for Yao Felix's goal, and I thought it was a lovely pass. I think not enough was said about that. I think he's unlucky that he's not in the first team, if I'm honest. And I also think he's unlucky. I also think he's unlucky that he's got to play with either and or Dizazi or slash Badiashile because you're not going to look good next to them.
Well, I think he's the clear sort of second, well, the first reserve, let's say, from the behind the first team, and he seems to be the one that comes on when we need him. And yeah, out of those ones, he's the one that has impressed the most, and you can see the most in his game. I think it's just pace. I think that the difference between him and Fofana at the minute is pace.
Oh, but Fofana's always been pacey, and the fact he's still kept his pace after his ACL as well is incredible. 2 ACLs. You've spoken about Fernandez already. I mean, to be fair, we're a little bit behind on the old episodes. There's been a lot of criticism now while we record this about Fernandez. Some of those stats, you sent them to me actually, with games played with regards to win rates and stuff like that. It does not look good. And on top of that, Real Madrid are apparently tempted to offer Tuchemi to us for Fernandez. Or pay 83 million. I can't remember if it's 83 million and Tuchemi or 83 million or another price in Tuchemi. Either way, I always thought Real Madrid would come in for him, if I'm brutally honest, but I have to admit, I'm not seeing the player that I was hoping to see this season after the last season that we had, after the last season he had with us.
I think it wasn't great last season either.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, he didn't have a good season last season, and we both kind of said he needs to have a better season this season compared to the first 6 months when he first joined us. We were really excited. But if I'm brutally honest, I'm not overly convinced by that midfield anyway. If I'm honest, like Vega, Dewsbury Hall, and Fernandez,
Well, Dewsbury Hall was playing out wide. He had a shocking game, but I do feel sorry for Dewsbury Hall in that he doesn't seem to be consistently playing. Well, he's not playing the position that I thought he was going to play in. He's not playing the position that he was playing for Leicester last season. It seems to be João Felix that plays in that position. So either he plays a little bit deeper, or they've now started to stick him out wide. You kind of go, well, he's just not going to be the same. He's too busy thinking about what he's trying to do rather than actually just kind of playing in his sort of natural position.
yeah.
So I feel a bit sorry for him, and he didn't play particularly well. I don't think anyone played particularly well, other than I think João Felix was the only one that I thought deserved a chance in the sort of like at the first team. And there's a part of me actually that's thinking about maybe we shift Cole Palmer wide and play João Felix in that midfield 3 because he's playing quite well, and there's sort of negatives around Noni and Pedro Neto.
So I don't think there's been. I mean, we'll get onto that for the next game, but I don't think that I don't think Pedro Neto deserves any criticism. And I said the thing with Noni is, I said it before. I think he just needs to pass a bit more and stop holding up the ball sometimes. But overall, I still think he's bringing a lot to the team. I just think with our first team at the moment, I like Lavia in there, and I think just back on that Tuchemi thing, I just think is Tuchemi not really another Lavia? And the only thing I'd say with that is I think Lavia's done well for us when he's played this season. I've been pleasantly surprised. But I would then say that we then have a lack of creativity in the midfield because it's just Cole Palmer. I feel like it's all resting on Cole Palmer at the moment.
Yeah, oh, I think that's a fair point. Yeah, we'd be better off with someone in that's more of an all-rounder. But I think against the better teams in the league, I think it's going to be Caicedo Lavia until we get someone else.
No, and I agree.
Yeah, at the start of the
I
season.
agree. From a stability point of view, they offer that. They really do offer the stability. I mean, I know we lost to Liverpool when we did it, but I thought we were unlucky. You know, we could have scored. It's one of those games where it could have gone either way, like most of our games at the moment. Um, do you know what? I didn't think Mudryk had a bad game against Newcastle.
Sorry.
Considering what we've seen from Mudryk in the past, I still think he's got some good crosses in.
Yeah, yeah. I just think for me, Jeff, yeah. But from how good Mudryk is, well, like how good Mudryk's been shown to be, I think for him he had a good game. In
Yeah,
terms of challenging for that first 11 spot, not sure he did enough.
no, I'm not saying he's no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he deserves to be in the first 11. I just think considering where he's been with Europa Conference League, where he was last season,
Mm.
I was pleasantly surprised I thought he was great against Panathinaikos. I know it's Panathinaikos, as you said, it's a bunch of plumbers. But then coming into this game, I still thought I saw a step up. There's room for improvement, but I just like the way he's going at the moment. I think there's still like you keep saying there's a player in there somewhere, and I feel like the longer this season goes on, we'll see a completely different player by the end of the season.
I really hope so. Because if the flashes of brilliance can turn into more regular brilliance, then we've got an absolute player there.
His decision making is so much better over the last few games. Like his crosses, everything. I just I really do think he could be a starting player next by the end of the season. I really see it.
Yeah.
I've got one last point I've got for this game, and this did really infuriate me because it didn't make a lot of sense. And I'd love to get your point. You can tell me I'm bag shit crazy and disagree with me, or you can obviously agree with me. For me, towards the end of the game when we had quite a bit of possession against Newcastle, too many high crosses into the box.
I have to say I don't remember. I mean, it wasn't something I thought about at the time. I was too busy raging about the refereeing performance by the end to actually really pay any attention.
Okay,
Uh,
well put it this way then. With the players that we had on the pitch, do you think
we shouldn't have put the ball in the air at all, really, because
that's my point? Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
looking for whip crosses at that point. But yeah, I, I'm going to go for it because I think the refereeing performance was a joke. And I think the lack of consistency, I think that game specifically showed what I feel I see a lot, which is the other team getting the benefit of the doubt in being given the least possible um punishment for any challenge, and we get the worst possible punishment for any challenge. The fact that Badashil got a yellow card for his challenge and Shah only got a yellow card for his challenge that he got booked for, that was a portal sliding challenge, basically last man. Like it's not like guaranteed goal scoring chance, but there's one player behind the ball across the other side of the pitch, and there's two players running back about 5 yards behind. Badashil gets booked for like a slight tug, and there's three players the correct side of the ball. Mental. Anthony Gordon incredibly lucky to stay on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think that challenge was straight red, and 2 minutes before it, he swiped Mudryk's legs out from behind with no.
That's a fair point.
And that should have been a booking. He was also incredibly lucky to not give away a penalty because I don't know how you don't give two hands shoving in the back. That's mental. Any slight touch of the foot, pen every time. But two-hand push in the back, no, not enough. Ridiculous. If that's the rules, then they need to fucking change them because there's literally no reason for him to shove him there. I think that's mainly it, but I just fuck me, I was so annoyed. Like after the first goal, when I saw no, actually, fuck that. Lloyd Kelly getting a free kick because he's got Jao Felix, like a hold of Jao Felix's shirt, and
Yeah,
he goes
yeah,
around it.
yeah.
Then he goes down. Every fucking Tonali got a free kick for getting hit in the face by the fucking ball. Like any time when I went down, it was like he didn't need a reason to give it. He just every time they went down, if there wasn't a reason that he shouldn't give it, he fucking gave it. It was infuriating to watch.
Do you think it was
They
home advantage?
decision, huh?
Do you think it was home advantage?
Maybe it was home advantage, but fuck me, have a bit of backbone. You don't have to give a free kick every time they fucking out until the 89th minute when Joe Linton is trying to initiate contact and gets nudged in the back a little bit. It the whole fucking game, they just rolled around on the floor, got it, and I just and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the next episode. But the fucking protection of our players is a joke at the minute. Players
No, I
are
do agree with that.
fuck they want to our lot at the minute, and it like nothing happens. They go, oh, silly little yellow, and yeah, I won't go into what I was going to say afterwards, but that because it's about the next game. But it's just like how when if they get if basically they've won from a goal that they've got a little nudge in the back, got the benefit of the doubt on it, and then they go on and score. But João Felix isn't allowed to put that same amount of pressure on because the other guy's got a hold of his shirt and he whips around him. It's the same level of like we would then have an incredible chance to score. If we score that, then it's 2-2. And
Well,
you go, oh,
the Nkuku one was the one that really got me. It's the one where he's literally steals. I can't remember who he steals it off. I think it might be Joe Linton. I'm not sure. And as soon as he steals the ball, the bloke goes down, and the ref blows a whistle. And I swear he gets the ball, and Palmer falls to the floor in just.
yeah.
Can't believe that the ref.
Every time we can,
And
unless
Maresca goes ballistic. I think Maresca got a yellow card actually for his reaction to that.
and I do think they need to come out and just kind of go like, just actually watch them back and just go like, yeah, I probably got that wrong actually on the balance of the game.
Well, they do apparently. They just don't disclose it. Someone else comes out and says whether they agree with the decision or not.
And that's the fucking problem, right? Because you should kind of go, well, everyone else is looking at it going, well, those are the rules, especially with VAR, where they look at it again and you kind of go, well, what the fuck has he not seen there? Like,
We didn't have VAR for one thing. Okay.
Huh?
We didn't have VAR available.
No, I'm sure they reviewed. I thought they reviewed the Madrid two-hand push.
No, I don't think they're allowed to have VAR available because not every club that could get to that round, because it's only the fourth round, might have VAR in their stadium.
I thought it was one of those where if you had it available, it was used. I didn't.
No, I don't think they bring it in until much later on.
But I think so much is ludicrous. I think one of the big problems I have in football at the minute is if a challenge is 2 fucking yellow cards, just give them. If the same challenge has 2 yellow card incidents in it, in terms
of yeah.
Where you go, forceful challenge, that's a booking all day wherever it happens on the pitch. And it's a last
out kicking the ball away.
Situational, you gotta go, well, that's an incredible chance on a breakaway if he doesn't make that tackle. I think you just have to give a red in that situation. Because I'm not one of these that's just kind of like, oh, it ruins the game giving a red. I don't think it ruins the game. I think what ruins the game is inconsistent refereeing and making it up as you fucking go along.
No, I agree. I would much rather see players getting red carded for, double bookings, for example, for time wasting or kicking the ball away. That minimal shit that pisses fans off. That refs don't really cover enough. If one of the yellow cards is that, and then a yellow card is a yellow card foul, or 2 fucking book times you kick the ball away or back chat, whatever it is, it's the only way to get out of the game. I honestly believe if referees ref the game properly and actually started booking players every time they started back chatting them and crowding them, along with, like I said, kicking the ball away or time wasting, and they did it earlier on in the game, yeah, all right, you might get a couple of more red cards here and there, But I reckon players will start to learn quickly because their managers will be turning around to them going, "You can't keep getting suspended. We can't keep going down to 10 or 9 men." So
And part of it also, you're gonna you're gonna get ones where cerebral managers are kind of like, well, if they're not going to fucking give it, do what you can. Like if you're gonna have to take a foul, hurt the bloke. Like do something, like get something on him. Because if you kind of go, well, if situationally you're getting a yellow card and it doesn't really matter as long as it's not horrendous, so it's a red, like a straight red challenge, you might as well, like when Badashiel just pulled his like arm, he might as well have just grabbed him by the collar and just fucking yanked him back and just gone like, oh, yeah.
I mean, he could just pull him by the hair, like it's a Cucurella, and that was fine. So
Yeah. And this is the fucking problem. And you kind of go like, well, you're kind of allowing this shit to happen. And then it gets to a point where our players feel like we're not getting protected and we have to fucking like run it, like make a fucking point of it. And then we get 3 players booked, we get fines. You're going to go, well, if you actually fucking protected the players, book people when you should book people, and send players off when they fucking deserve one, none of this shit would happen. But time after time, every other team seems to get the benefit of the fucking doubt, and then we get the worst punishment you can possibly fucking give every time.
no, I do agree. I think there's been a few games recently where we've been quite unlucky with some of the yellow cards. No, I do agree. But overall, last season you didn't want to have anything to do with the Carabao Cup. This season we haven't really spoken about your thoughts about the Carabao Cup. So how are you feeling that we are now out of said cup?
I don't care about winning it or losing it. I think it more causes us problems in giving people game time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're using it well this season, and we're using the Europa League. I think it also causes problems in the Europa League because those players aren't playing as regularly.
Yeah.
So our Europa League performance will suffer for that, or Europa Conference League. And Europa Conference League, I wouldn't mind winning just to hedge our bets on. Basically, at least we get Europa League football next season. If we have a major drop off, we get a load of injuries, whatever, I still think our squad is good enough to win that competition.
Oh, 100%. Like let's face it, I think halfway through the competition we can re-choose our squad anyway. So we'll start putting in bigger players for the later rounds, sort of in next year.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame though, in terms of like then the players aren't playing at all. But
No, I agree, but then I don't know. Then maybe they'll have to do something with the Premier League. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, it is what it is. These players have half a season to prove themselves. So,
I think
but I
it's
can't put it this way. I can't see Cole Palmer not being involved in the Europa League, in the Europa Conference League next half season in January onwards, February onwards.
depends like how much you will select. I think if we get to the final and there's an option to like select your squad for the final, I think it'll be in it. But I don't. I think yeah, like I say, I think it's just a shame that those players aren't going to play. I think Mudryk, like you said, was coming along.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to get sort of less game time and probably like substitute appearances mainly in the Prem and still some Europa League games. But
Well, I don't know, mate. Like, if people are slating Neto and they are slating Noni, then maybe he might get a bit more game time in against some. Forgive me for saying it. Some lower league, well, lower teams in the league.
there's just not any fucking easy games. I mean, look what Bournemouth
No,
like the last couple of
I'm
weeks.
not. I'm not saying there are any easy games. I mean, granted, it's been proven this weekend where what was it? Bournemouth beat Arsenal and who beat City?
City got to go difficult time, didn't they? Did they lose?
Yeah,
Oh,
Bournemouth beat Arsenal 1-0 and City lost 2-1 to somebody. I can't remember who it was.
was it Wolves?
I'm not sure.
Wolves seem to be difficult. Arsenal celebrating with their trophy already for being the only team that hasn't conceded against Wolves yet, so that's good.
No, I can't remember who it was. But again, it's a team where you're like, oh wow, they should not have lost that game. And then it meant Liverpool won as well, which just pissed me off. But oh well. Right, I think that brings this episode to an end. So this was Newcastle in the League Cup away. We are now out of the League Cup, as we've just established. Onwards and upwards with the Premier League, I guess, until next year, and the Europa Conference League until next year when the FA Cup starts. With that, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, and comment below. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.